Okay, so let's start. Hello, everyone. So before I will start, just let me know if you are able to see my screen. Yes, are
Yes.
you able? Okay, thank you. Okay, so okay, before we start, so as we all know that today our session is on Leprechaun setup. So before we start on to our session part, let me introduce myself and with me today Ashutosh. He is giving you an end-to-end demo on the Leprechaun setup. So as as some of you know me, but if you don't know me, so myself Tushar, and I am working here at Horizontal from past 3 years, and I am working as a associate tech lead here. So over to you, Ashutosh.
Thank you, Tushar. Hello, everyone. Myself, Ashutosh Shah, and I am working in Horizontal as Associate DX Engineer from past 2 months and joined as an intern in Jan and then converted to full time in July. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you. So let's go into a detail on our today's topic. So let me just switch to the next slide. So today we are covering that what is Leprechaun, why we need to use Leprechaun, and how we can set up Leprechaun, and then we have demo, and then we have the question and answer session. So this is the agenda for today's session. Let's me move to the next slide. So as we all might know or might not know, but the Leprechaun is one of the tool which we can utilize to generate code. So it is a code generation tool which will provide and facility that converts the Sitecore templates item into the model, and that models we can utilize into our project. So the key feature Leprechaun is it is automated the generation of Sitecore classes, item classes. So whenever you create a template and we you start your functionality, so at that time when you develop your functionality, you need to have some model where you store your data. So in the previous scenarios, we have the glass mapper, which we can utilize for that. And also we can generate classes manually as well. So those are the traditional way, but with help of Leprechaun, those process are now automated. So it will generate those classes automated with help of simple command, and that we will give you in the coming slides. And what are the benefits by using the Leprechaun? So as it is an automated process, so we have the consistency. So we do not need to, so manual task will have some redundancy, but in this automated process, we have the consistency, maintainability, so and reduce the manual coding error. So whenever it is automatically generated by the system, so we do not need to write any manual code into that. So that's the benefit utilizing this Leprechaun. So as I mentioned in this slide, that slide as well. So why we need to use Leprechaun? So Leprechaun is utilized by utilizing a Leprechaun, we can reduce our manual coding effort. So it's an efficiency, uh, as well as we can have a consistent format of our code. So it is also reduced errors like human errors when we do the code manually. And in a longer run, it is easy to maintain because it is automatically generated by system. So we do not need to worry on that part. And we will go give you an details like how we can integrate that with our Sitecore project as well. But that is also the one of the way which is utilize that flow. So the integration part is seamless. Now let me just go to the next slide. So how use how to use a leprechaun. So basically there are four simple steps which we need to follow, and then the leprechaun will be set up in our system. So the first step is we just need to install a leprechaun. So for that, we need to run some .NET tool command, and then that command will install that Leprechaun CLI. And then the second step is they have the Git repo where we have the Leprechaun default config and uh, the code generation file, which we need to download from there and set up into our local system. And we will give you an example as well in coming slides, but that is the second step which we need to follow. And once that step is done, then the third one is basically update a module.json file. So there are two things which we need to keep in mind when we do unicorn, sorry, Leprechaun setup. So the first thing is that we have the Sitecore CLI setup, as well as we have that Sitecore content serialization is also set up in our solution. So basically, Leprechaun is utilizing those YML file in background, and then it will generate a classes based on that YML file, which are generated with help of SCS. So when we have those module files, so when we have the SCS setup available in our system, so those SCS depends on the module.json file, and there we need to add a Leprechaun node, which will do a mapping between the Leprechaun and the Sitecore SCS. So that's the third step, and then we need to run a command, and that command will generate a model, and that we will show you in coming slides as well. So it's not that much complex. It's straightforward. We can set up easily. So as I explain you like which command we need to run to install that CLI. So here I have added a command. So once you run this command, so whenever, if you know about the SCS, when we perform that command, so they are generating some entries into that .NET tool.json file in background. So when, here I have taken a screenshot of that particular file. So when you run the above command in the screenshot, you see I have run that command and it gives me the success message as well. And if you want to cross check that thing, you have that file, you can verify into that file as well. You have new node added into that file with this Leprechaun details. So this is the first steps. What once this step is done, the second step which we need to use is to download those files. So as I explain you, like here I have also provided the link here. So these two links are basically the config file. So this is the Git repo link. So if I click here, it's open or not. So that link redirect us to this Git repo, and this is the Leprechaun config default config file, which I have we need to download. So we just simply click here, and we will be able to download this file, and then same way we need to click on this GSS TypeScript link. So here we have that. So this file is basically responsible to generate a model and create a file. So we have multiple types of different language. Like right now we have a JSS, right? So we need a TypeScript model. But in case of CSAP MVC project, we need an CSAP model, right? So in that case, we can utilize the simple wrapper CSX file, so which will generate a .cs file, and that will we can utilize in our MVC project. So these are the two links where we need to download. And then there are a couple of configurations which we need to do. There are the primary thing is like we have the configuration node in our uh, Leprechaun config file. So if I will show you that configuration node, so here we have that configuration node. Okay. So this node is by default have some default some values, but we need to make that value according to our project. So that we need to update. So in this node, we have two values we need to configure. One is where we are storing our that code generation file. Okay. So in our case, we have this JSS TypeScript.csx. So this file we need to store somewhere in our web root or our solution root folder. And then we need to provide the path to this particular node. And then we have the output attribute where we have those modules file path where we need to store those file generated files. So that is something we need to configure here. So this is the main configuration. And then one more thing which we need to keep in mind, like we need to specify this name, and this name we need to make sure we will be managing the same configuration with our modular.json as well. So that I will show you in our next slide. But here, these are the configuration part which we need to take care. And then the next step is update the module.json file. So as we all know that we have the SCS configure in our project, and that SCS will have this default things are there. Okay. What additional part we have added into that particular module.json file, this that I have highlighted in yellow here. So here, if you see the Leprechaun and the configuration and the extend and name. So extends basically the name which we need to provide. So if you go to the previous slide, so here we have the project.base name, but let me just go to my local setup where you can see those files. So right now in this local setup, I have that configuration node here. So I have given this name here. The same name I need to provide into the module.json file as well. So here I have configured that same name. Okay. So that two thing which we need to, that one thing which we need to take care, and then the another thing which we need to take care, I will give you a detail on that as well. So another thing is here we have address name. So basically address name is utilized by the template node, and that will take the layer name as well as the module name. And that way they can generate a path and get the details of particular sections. And then it will read those file and then process those files. So that name we need to keep like the project dot the hackathon 24, like project is layer name, and the hackathon 24 is our module name. So that is the two things which are utilized in our template configuration. I will give you that detail as well. So let me just go. Let me go to down. So here we have the template predicates node. Okay. So in default configuration, you do not have that path attribute configure here, but that you need to configure. So based on that path, it will get the module.json file data and process those things. So let me just open my local configuration. So here, if let me, so here I have configured that path. So in that path, we can add a module section as well. So dollar bracket and module. But in my case, I do not require that path. So that module. So I have remove that thing. But that is completely depend on us, which what we need to configure there. Only the two segments are there, that layer and the module. So that is the configuration. Now let's go to the slide part. So this is the module.json configuration which we need to do. So I have given you an example of that project.module.json file, but all the module.json file which are there in our solution, we need to update those file with this app Leprechaun node. And then this is the third steps. And then our setup is done now. And we are ready to run that Leprechaun command in our system. So the simple command which we need to generate, run from the CLI or the PowerShell. So first we need to navigate to the root folder, and then where we have the config file available. And then we need to run .NET Leprechaun and this command. So it will generate those file in background. So that's the configuration steps of Leprechaun. Now from here we have done the configuration. In this slide, I just give you an overview of the execution flow, like the same thing which we have I have explained to you in our previous slide. So when we run the command, it will pick the path, import path, and then that path will identify the module.json files, and module.json files will have those based on the module.json file, it will pick the template path of YML, and then those YML files will be utilized by this tool, and then it is generating the model, and that models will be stored into the specific locations where which we have configured in our configuration node in the config file. So this is an execution flow of the Leprechaun. So once this is done, I think uh, this all things will provide us that so when we run the command, so we have this type of TypeScript files available in our system. So if I open any of the file, so it will generate this model, and these models we can utilize in our project. So we do not need to manually create model. So it will by default created with the system, that tool, and that we can utilize. So I think this is an execution flow, and then there are a couple of things which I have already explained you, like the path which we need to configure. Okay, so the Leprechaun config, we need to configure a path. So it will pick all the module.json file and manage those things, as well as path of the template in the template predicate. So that is the template predicate path which we need to configure, and then extend should be matched with the configuration name. So that I have explained you, like the configuration name which we have in our Leprechaun config file, that name should match with the extend attribute name inside the module.json config file. So that is the things which we need to keep in mind. So I think I have covered almost everything about the Leprechaun setup and how we can utilize that thing. And our next slide is basically the references link which we have used. So I have utilized these two links for the reference, and if I click on this first link, you have the default repo readme file where everything they have configured, what are the different scenarios which we need to take care, and you can go by this link and go read this into detail, and you can verify. So here you see they have the, we can set up this Leprechaun command during the build process as well. So whenever we build the solution, it will automatically generate those model. We do not need to manually run that command. And there are certain other ways based on our requirement, project requirement, we can set up that thing. So this link you can refer for your reference, as well as you can refer this link as well. They have uh, explained all the steps. So this is the Devagna blog, so you can refer this as well. So they have given almost clear step, and you can also see the errors which you might get during the, if you have some configuration error. So that is also mentioned there. So I think that's all about the Leprechaun. Now let's move to the demo part. So I think Ashutosh, you can share your screen and start the demo.
Thank you, Tushar. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Tushar has also explained all the things, the configuration and all. So we will walk through the live example of how to use Leprechaun model in your daily project. So the very first thing you have to do is to create the template items and all the renderings and that all in the Sitecore side. And once it's done, so you have to take a pull from Sitecore so that you get all the items in your local. For that, I have already taken pull, so I have the latest items in my local. Now, what I will do is run the leprechaun command. So this will look all the for all the items in my local and will generate the models for the same. Now, for the example, I have created a card component in which I am having a main card wrapper, and inside it, I am having multiple cards. So first, I will show you the models, how it is being generated. As you can see here, inside the card section namespace, I am having one card in which its property is of list type or array type. And second thing is for the single card type, I am having the fields like title, image, description, or CTA. These all things I am getting from the Sitecore. Let me show you the Sitecore implementation. So inside feature, horizontal training, I am creating a new folder, card section. It's a good practice to have a folder structure for your components so that it is not in a scattered way. And also the namespace thing, this thing will be generated from here only. So whatever name you are keeping in of the folder, the namespace will take this name only. Then I will go to my main card wrapper and I will import the card section namespace as card data. Then here I am destructuring it to fields so that I can have an access to all the items. So in this component, I am only having one single item, that is cards, which is of list type. You can see here also. Can you hover it? For list, I am uh, mapping it, and inside each iteration, I am rendering the single card component. So in single card component, I am again using Leprechaun model for accessing all the fields that are present in the single card, such as the title, image, city, and description. So you can use all the things here. And if you hover over fields, you can get whole structure here. Going back to the demo, this is how it will look. So I have added only 3 cards for just now. You can add multiple cards or multiple things, and you can get the same for this. So any questions so far in this? Hello?
No, I think no.
Okay. So over to you, Tushar.
Okay. So I think let me share my screen again. So that is all about the demo. And let me just give you a small example of how they are generated as well. So if you see here, I have run that command and that will generate this file in background, and this file are utilized by the so Ashutosh has explained like those model files they have utilized for the uh, mapping as well. So that's the flow. And let me just go to the next slide now. So is there any question on this? I think we have covered everything regarding the Leprechaun setup and how we can utilize in our components as well.
Hello,
Yes,
Pushpu here. So,
yes,
just one thing, when we work on a project, we configure this like the process of generating models into our build process, right? Either in
yes.
the backend build.
Yeah. So there are that's completely depend on the project. Like um, in one of our project, we have that manual task. So currently I'm on one of my project where we have the manual command because there are certain TypeScript that prettier syntax are missing into that model and it gives an build error. But that is there where we can configure as a build process as well. So as I open that Git repo of Leprechaun, and in the README documents they have also provided different ways like the build pipeline we can inject, as well as we can inject into the gulp task. We can add a gulp task as well and trigger that command. So that's the whichever way we can utilize based on the project requirement.
Okay, sure. So, can you just quickly show that if it is handy?
Okay, I need to configure that because in my local system, I have just a folder. I do not have the solution. So I need to create that.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
I have just I have configured serialization and then only that Leprechaun setup. That two things
Okay,
only available. So I will share that thing in our group with
sure, no
detail.
problem.
But here in this, okay. So this is the event where we need to configure in our solution. So when before the MS build, so that I will give the detail on that, how we can configure that. Okay.
Any other question? Then I think we are covered before the time. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Ashutosh. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Next session is on Thursday, which is the last session of Sitecore JSS. If you have any question, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.